Hi, I'm Kristine Weber, the founder of Subtle Yoga and the director of the Subtle Yoga Teacher Training Programs. And after I posted the last video about symmetry following asymmetry, I got some comments, and what a few people asked is, why can't we just use down dog for symmetry, which is a fantastic question. So the previous video I was talking about, if you're doing warrior one and then warrior two, it's good to follow it with a forward fold because that creates some symmetry. So here's the thing with down dog. It's not wrong. In fact, it can be a really good way to bring symmetry to your asymmetrical poses. The issue is, how are you getting in and out of your down dog, right? So in the original Ashtanga sequence, as it was taught by Pattabhi Jois, you would jump your feet back to Chaturanga, then do like an up dog and a down dog. So that's the symmetry after doing the asymmetry, like in the Surya Namaskar B, for example, right? So the thing is, if you're bringing one foot forward into that lunge and then one foot back into the down dog and doing that repeatedly in a class and doing the same class 3 times a week or something similar 3 times a week and then doing that over the next 3 or 13 years, then the potential for repetitive strain is what you're looking at, right? So, and it can possibly create problems in the sacroiliac joint, the hip joint, and even imbalances in the psoas. So that whole hip joint starts to become at risk from that kind of repetitive strain. So just let's keep in mind that these practices, you know, the jump back kind of practices were developed by Pattabhi Jois under the direction of his guru Krishnamacharya, who invented that practice for skinny teenage Indian boys, you know. So let's keep in mind who that's for, and if that's who you are, or if that's what your body's like, then it's probably going to be fine with that practice. But if you're a seasoned yogi and you've been practicing for a long time and you're experiencing that kind of vague feeling in your SI joint, you might need to think about modifying your practice and bringing more symmetry back into it after the asymmetrical poses. So here's another example before I leave you. So I talked about warrior one in the last video, and what I want to talk about now is a seated twist, and that might be Matsyendra asana, just with the one knee up, or it might be like a Sukhasana twist, or which is just with your legs crossed, or it might be like Bharadwaj, where you're kind of sitting on your heels with your knees folded under. Those are asymmetrical seated poses. So you want to take that asymmetrical pose that you do on both sides and then follow it with a symmetrical pose, like, for example, Paschimottanasana, which is that seated forward fold. Now, the question is, how do you compensate for seated forward folds? Because the spine is quite loaded in a seated pose. And that is one of the things we're going to be covering in the retreat on April 2nd and 3rd here in beautiful Asheville, North Carolina. So click on the link below to find out more information about the workshop. I hope you can join us, and I hope this sequencing tip was helpful for you today. Namaste.